In physics, sound is a vibration that travels in the form of an acoustic wave through a transmission medium that can be either gas, liquid, or solid. When we mention sound in terms of human physiology, however, then we're referring to the feeling of receiving these acoustic waves and how the brain perceives and interprets them as distinct sounds. As humans, we're accustomed to hearing sound constantly, even those sounds as subtle as breathing, traffic crossing the road, birdsong, wind, and the general murmurs and whispers of nature and human civilization. So, what would the world be like if there was no sound? Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're an inquisitive and curious mind, because we have so much more content lined up for you. Scientifically speaking, complete silence can only exist in a vacuum such as space, where there is no sound simply because there is no medium through which the sound waves can travel. This is just as well because silence, or the absence of sound, is a universally unsettling and uncomfortable experience. That's why countless films, television shows, novels and stories use silence as a device to convey fear, dread and terror. Sound is one of our most important senses because it allows us to navigate and understand the world around us, even in unfamiliar situations. Thankfully, we don't have to experience this unnerving silence in our day-to-day lives, surrounded as we are by an endless sea of sound. Not a minute goes by when we're not receiving audio input in some way or another. Sound comprises an essential component of our existence, not only as a medium of expression but also as a way to interact with, perceive and react to stimuli in our surroundings. In this particular thought experiment, we're going to imagine that all sound has disappeared from the world. In this silent parallel reality, nothing else has changed, apart from the fact that sound has simply ceased to exist. For a moment, just imagine stepping outside and seeing a busy road filled with high-speed traffic and impatient drivers, only that you can't hear the familiar hum of the engines or the screeching brakes and blaring horns. There may be pedestrians walking around you and walking in and out of buildings, but you can neither hear their footsteps nor the sounds of doors opening and closing. It's easy to see why we'd be so much more vulnerable as well. We wouldn't hear the sound of an oncoming vehicle warning us to move away in time, or someone crying out in pain for help. Communication would be severely affected. For numerous species, sound is their primary form of communication, and humans are no exception. Over thousands of years, we have developed complex systems of languages, dialects, expressions, and tones in order to distinguish each other apart, as well as convey particular emotions and information. In evolutionary terms, the development of these sophisticated communication methods was pivotal to the great innovations that human civilization would come to achieve. With regard to animals, they obviously don't vocalize words or string together sentences in the same way that humans do, but they themselves have established complicated and unique communication systems that have been fundamental to their survival. Without sound, countless species would be unable to chirp, screech, or cry, depriving them of something that is critical to their well-being and success as a species. Animals would have to evolve in order to ensure their survival, something which would be particularly difficult for birds considering how they use mating and warning calls to communicate over vast distances. Hunting and avoiding being hunted would become so much more difficult, and species would have to adapt to adjust to the use of visual sign languages, similar to the way bees and ants communicate now. Living in a world without sound certainly wouldn't be a death sentence, and human civilization would eventually find a way to adapt. The problem is, however, that sound brings such complexity, meaning, and perception to our lives that we would never be able to fill the absence left by the subsequent void of silence. Without sound, we would lose our primary means of communication and connection with those around us. Countless animals, insects, and even plants would struggle to adjust to this new silent world. We would lose a valuable dimension to entertainment such as music and cinema, and we would have to live without the sound of pattering raindrops or birdsong. In conclusion, sound brings a depth, enrichment, and intensity to our lives that just cannot be compensated for in any other way. Hopefully you enjoyed this theoretical exploration, and if you would like to see more content like this, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.